Chef Jeff Henderson is a culinary champion and a best-selling author, but you can just call him Chef Jeff. Everybody does. Along with everything else, he hosts the syndicated cooking show Family Style with Chef Jeff, which is seen on most major markets nationwide.
But Chef Jeff's road to success was anything but smooth and straight, as he himself will tell you. We are delighted to welcome him to the dish this morning. Good morning, Chef.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
I'm honored to be here.
First of all, what do we got?
We have a great holiday meal here with friendly fried chicken. We have the apple pecan salad here, cream corn, cornbread, and my granddaddy's favorite bread pudding, a chocolate s'more bread pudding with vanilla ice cream.
We should tell people, excuse me,
yes,
about why this is called friendly chicken, because your backstory, we've had a lot of chefs here.
Yes.
Yours is perhaps the most fascinating. You went from making 35 grand a week as a drug dealer.
Yes.
Convicted, put in prison for 10 years,
yes,
and then you completely changed your life. And Friendly, tell them the backstory of the name Friendly for this chicken.
Yeah, wow. You know, definitely was a part of my life back in the day, selling drugs that I'm not proud of. But I wound up going to prison, and I got fired on my job in prison. And the punishment was a pot and pan detail.
EKP.
Yes, and kitchen intros. You know about that, right?
Yep.
Okay, so, and I met Friendly Womack, and Friendly Womack was a mentor of mine, and he inspired this chicken right here as one of the first things that I learned to cook. So this is actually prison fried chicken.
So your transformation literally came in the kitchen in prison.
It did, you know, and education as well. You know, it's the first time in my life that I discovered something about myself. You know, I kind of grew up in the prison kitchen, and here I am 20-something years later.
What was it you discovered?
Food. Food, appreciation, praise. I was praised for my food in prison, so it felt good to finally be praised for something positive versus something negative when I was on the streets.
It was interesting because in your backstory, I think what I found the most interesting is that you said you always were a visionary in terms of business. You just were applying it to the wrong thing. And in prison, or as you call it, Federal University.
Yes.
You learned a skill set that you were able to translate into the marketplace.
Yeah, well, you know, prison is designed for punishment. And I went in when I was very young. I was 24 years old. And it was in prison where I met this Wall Street guy. And he said, Henderson, you're a smart guy. He said, when you're on the street, you understood marketing, branding, public relations. You've managed a diverse work crew. He says, all you got to do is change the product. And that product was me. And I started to value education, went to school, earned my GED, and participated in business classes in the federal system. At that time, it was called Club Fed.
Right.
And I turned federal prison into Fed University, and here I am. So it worked for me.
When you get out of prison, it's within, what, like 4 years?
Yes.
You're working at the Bellagio, correct?
Yes, as the first African-American executive chef running Cafe Bellagio.
How does that happen?
Well, let me tell you, I was totally focused. I was driven. I knew right from there, when I was in prison cooking, that I knew I wanted to be a chef. And I came out of prison in 1996. I worked my way from the dish room all the way up to some of the best hotel restaurants on the West Coast, from Ritz-Carlton, Hotel Bel Air, Caesar's Palace, and eventually the Bellagio.
And you have really not forgotten where you came from. You go to the prison once a month, and you mentor kids.
Yes, it's very important. And I truly link my success to my give back and paying it forward. You know, working with young kids, saying, hey, you're gifted, you have a talent, discover who you are. You don't have to go to prison. You don't have to sell drugs. That everybody was born with a gift, and you just have to be able to find that gift. So, yeah.
Just a year ago, you were invited to travel to Ghana.
Yes.
What'd you do down there?
Well, I went to Ghana with NYIT here in New York City, and went to a rural village, and I took my 15-year-old son, Jeffrey Jr., and we worked with young kids from education to cooking and mentoring in a rural village out in Ghana, and it was a life-changing experience for me to really understand and see how the world works and be able to give back, and it was important for me to bring my son with me as well.
Prison fried chicken is delicious. I just want to stop for a moment and say that. It's so wonderfully brine.
Let me tell you a good storyline here. At the Bellagio, I had fried chicken on Wednesdays, and the executives used to come down there on Wednesdays, flip their tie back. They never knew they were eating prison fried chicken, but everybody in the kitchen knew. It was a great seller as well, too. So,
when you speak, and also on your show, I mean, how do people respond to your life story? I can imagine they're just overwhelmed at what you've done with yourself.
It has been an inspirational story to so many people, which is why it was important for me to write this new book called If You Can See It, You Can Be It, based on the 12 Street Smart Recipes for Success, which is a roadmap for anyone who's stuck in life, who lost a job, for the have-nots, people looking to reinvent themselves. And that's what I had to do. I had to reinvent myself as a person and build a brand so I can come out of prison and get accepted back into society.
Now, am I right? There's an interesting footnote here to this fabulous fried chicken, which is named for Friendly Womack.
Yes.
Who is is he not the brother of Bobby Womack?
Yes,
the singer, the great soul singer?
Yes, he's the eldest brother, and you know, like myself and so many people around the country during the 1980s, you know, we made poor choices and went to prison. You know, we paid our dues, and he was a great mentor to me, along with other men in prison, especially mentoring the young men. And it turned out to work for me. You know, like I said, I learned to shave in prison. I read my first book. I went to school. I earned my GED, and here I am, 20-something years later.
I don't know where you learned to mix a cocktail, but this is excellent. Just tell me quickly.
Well, listen, that has vodka, is a vodka lemonade juice with a little bit of fresh mint in there as well. So it's a little strong there, so be careful. Yes.
Well, the tradition here is that we love to get signatures on this plate, so let me hand this over to you. Chef Jeff, thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
For more on Chef Jeff Henderson and the dish, head to our website at cbsnews.com/CBS This Morning.